Well, hello, welcome to Hello Chaos, the unfiltered podcast for founders in the messy middle. No fairy tales here, just the real grind, the grit, and chaos of building a business. We are welcoming Kelly Dowd, founder and CEO of FIDA Design Inc. He's visiting us from Naples, Florida. Yeah, welcome to the show, Kelly. I'm so excited that you're on. I think you're going to bring such good energy today. I need it. It's because we're recording on a Friday. We need all the energy for this weekend. Ready
Thank
to go?
you. Thank you. I used to tell my partner this that, and I'm sure a lot of people are aware, but it doesn't ring home or come home that fast. Is it takes two to tango,
Yeah,
right? So it's like a yin yang. So you bring the energy, and I bring it as well. And before you know, we make chaotic magic.
that's right. I love it. So tell us how did you start and why did you get into entrepreneurship? And then how did you get to start FIDA?
Beautiful question. And again, thanks so much for having me. So my journey to entrepreneurship actually dated back to my home country, Nigeria. So
Okay.
for those that don't know who I am or what kind of place where my accent is from, yes, it's very common. So I'm Nigerian American with British heritage. So all of
Okay.
my life has been so integrated into the British culture because first of all we were colonized by those wonderful people. I won't talk too much about it. And, being born in Nigeria and have to like go through all of the beautiful African culture. So my life, it's very mixed, hush posh. I've been like lived in other countries. Voila, the baby was made and I'm here. So my journey as an entrepreneur dated back to my home country in Nigeria. And little did I know that that was something formidable to be called maybe the entrepreneurial journey. I remember my mom happens to be a fashion designer and she was a single mom. So it was just me and her, snuggling like bear, mama bear the cup. And there was a point where whenever my mom travels, right, whenever she's out of state, maybe for 2 days or so, I mean, she ensured that the house is stocked with food because she knows that our baby is so independent people at a very young age. So she won't be too bothered because there'll be neighbors at least keeping an eye on me as well to make sure I'm not a bad boy. S-
Right.
Thank God I wasn't a bad boy, except on this case where it all began. Whenever she travels, I will look around me and I see that a lot of kids around me did not have the luxury that I had. Meanwhile, indeed, my mom was a single mom. But I'll tell you, this beautiful Nigerian woman labored night and day to ensure that I went to a private school. So that was how it started. So I went to a
Yeah.
British private primary school and British private secondary school, thanks to her. Back to it. So each time she's not around, I just look around me and I see kids that were not fortunate enough to have that luxury of education that I had. So I took it upon myself to always organize school coaching or lesson. I want to describe it because I was just like seven. I was like 7 years, 8 years old. So it was just bizarre because the mini me, right, the little chihuahua from nowhere would just gather all of these kids and we'll say, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a lesson today. And part of the lesson, we will have a lesson plan. It all revolves around social studies, quantitative reasoning, and verbal reasoning. So basically, math, English, and social life. So, and these are all of the things I learned from my own school, right? So bring it home, tell all of the kids, and I'll tell them. And here is the big part of it. At the end of this school session, you will get your grades and you will get a delicious meal. Guess what? I happen to be the person who does all of the cooking. I was a teacher, I was the headmaster, I was the cleaner, I was everything. Okay. So the money that my mom leave for me to perhaps to buy candy and things like that, I would take the money to do the printing. And the return of that short investment was seeing a bright smile on the face of this kid. To me, I would tell you, I never knew what I was doing. All I wanted to see was to see other kids happy.
You knew you felt it that it was the right thing. You knew it was the right investment
I felt,
from
I
the
felt,
start. So you were like a little business person working all the you were hustling
I,
and
wa-
working the business and like, yeah,
I was
that's
hungry.
amazing.
But here was the best part of the hustle, my dear. I was making the best return on investment I can ever make. So the money wasn't coming, but I had the best currency come in. I had the
Yeah,
trust, I had the love, and I have the smile of these
right.
wonderful kids. And today, wherever they are, if they forget, so be it. That is life. Life is a bitch. And I'll talk
I
about.
doubt that they will ever forget. Nobody forgets that. No.
And that was the journey. That was how it started. And, little did I know that my mind would be shaped by that little act of kindness that led to an impact. So, fast forward, I went through my journey as a fashion model. Started at the age of 16. I went through the journey of a pageant king, then went through the journey of being a banker, then finally corporate America.
You went from being a fashion model to a banker? There is no way you were.
I love.
Did you like it?
Oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved my life as a banker because here's the thing, Jennifer. In Nigeria, if you are a banker and you're working with maybe, let's say, Standard Chartered Bank or Guaranty
Right,
Trust Bank or Stanbic IBTC, those are like big powerhouses.
right.
They are known to have some of the best and serious professionals in the industry.
Yeah.
The fashion is there, and it was actually fashion that took me to banking. I'll be honest
Oh,
with you. Oh yes,
like, cause you saw there was no fashion and you said, I need to bring some creative energy into this
for the man,
world?
for the man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because the women, gosh, I remember the lady who interviewed me. I was actually blushing, even though I know that, yes, this little gay boy that is just talking to this gorgeous lady. And because the shoe, she wore Christian Louboutin. She's a banker. Okay. So she had a Christian Louboutin on and she was so knowledgeable, so smart, so eloquent, and the most important thing, so kind. And I just fell for that. And I wanted her to be my boss. That was the key reason. That was also the drive. I just like because
that's
she's
who
fabulous.
yeah, this is the circle I wanna be in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
my god.
Yeah, she was fabulous. And today I recently someone on her Instagram feed, and she's a fitness trainer and a coach now because she was like, just like me, you look at a chapter, you said, I've done my part, I've paid my
Right.
dues, now up to the next thing. So, and it was just so nice. But I'll tell you, that was how everything all started. When I immigrated to the States after my modeling and all of that life, I decided to go back to corporate because once corporate, you will always be corporate. It's always in that. So, and from corporate, I realized there are a whole lot of string and things that I said, oh, shit, to. And that was the journey to me.
Yeah.
It's just that, you know what? You need to do your own thing and be your own boss. So you don't say, oh, yeah.
But you have to go through that to really I did the same thing of I never thought I'd start my own company until you kinda you're presented a path of this, this is what I gotta do.
It is real.
Yeah,
It is real, Jennifer. It is so real because, a lot of the time, I mean, let's face it, there are a lot of things that perhaps could really hinder you for not pursuing that goal because you have to be really pragmatic about going into that entrepreneurial journey because I would tell you, right, it's not always easy because just like life, it's not a bed of all roses. So you have to think of how your light bulb have to be on. You have to think about, okay, the bills gotta be paid. You have to think about the clothes have to be on the body. And you have to think about this marketing and everything. Every single
that's right.
details have to go in there. So, and I'm sure that is some of the things that is holding some people back for not to
Yeah,
venture into the world of entrepreneurship.
that's right. A lot of it is just fear of uncertainty, fear of unknown,
Exactly.
but just take that leap. So you don't regret taking the leap. You're like,
No,
this
no,
is the best thing.
no, I don't. I will tell you this. It's the best thing that ever happened to me because, I mean, I wouldn't go into detail, but I must lost my life, at
Yeah,
point. Yeah, it got that bad, and I was just like, "Run, run,
right.
run."
We always say that our body is screaming at us sometimes if we're not on the right path that we're supposed to be on. Hey, founders, if your brand's feeling a little, well, chaotic, you're not alone. That's exactly why Bright Marketing created the Bright Starter Sprint. It's a 90-day jumpstart for founders who need to launch, level up, or maybe just hit reset with clarity and confidence. You'll get our full brand therapy sprint, a complete brand dossier with your story, audience personas defined, positioning all nailed down, plus your go to market, a high level go to market blueprint, your pitch deck, anthem video, basic website, and a founder personal style guide that gives you clarity of how you need to approach your own content on social media. And you also get a 60-day content roadmap for your brand to put everything in motion. It's everything a founder needs to go from what do we do next to we're ready to roll in just 90 days flat. We can get it done. This Bright Starter Sprint built for founders who want to start smart, not just fast. So if you're interested, send an email to hello@gobrightnow.com. That is hello@gobrightnow.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know that because the interesting phenomenon that I've come to realize over time, and I think this realization came from the constant travel, from country to country and all of that I do a lot, solo or with my partner or my
Right.
best friend. So, but the biggest realization is your body, this the head, the ears, every composition,
Every
every of this component that makes you human, it's actually metaphorical. Yeah, it is so our anatomy is deeply metaphorical to the extent that it's also, right, it's your own doctor because it tells you that, hey, when you are fumbling, when the energy is low, just like the battery, you get into um 45%, hey, plug and recharge. 15% and try not to get to zero because when you get to 0%, that
it's
is when it
hard to
becomes
climb
hard.
out.
It
Yep.
is so hard.
Yep.
It is
Yep.
so, so hard.
Yeah, I think we've described entrepreneurship as like it's a roller coaster. A
It
lot of
is.
time you get the highs and the lows, and there's really not a middle. There's not a flat the flat. But to be careful of getting so low, you need to make sure you have either a circle in place or community, or you just need to really listen to your body
Yes.
telling you whether it's your energy because it's depleted because you are wearing a million hats, stressed about a million things, but also the circle and the people that you surround yourself with.
That is
Um,
important.
yeah,
Very important. And, again, gosh, you're making me have a lot of goosebumps because you're just hitting it left and right. Like it make complete sense, right?
right.
Because the truth is, your body is a signal on its own. Your body, right, tells you what you need to do. Your body gives you all of the signs, all of the necessary signals
That's
to
right.
move on, or perhaps to put something down. At the same time, energy is extremely contagious. The people
Yes.
and with matters a lot. Your
Yeah.
partner that you spend your time with, the let's be realistic, even the people you share your bed with, even though they are not your partner, it
Right.
matters a lot because energy, it is extremely contagious and powerful. Because if you're moving with people that all they think about is negative all the time, but there's nothing positive emerging from them, you will burn. You will crash and burn easily. And before you know, oh gosh, thank God FedEx is here. I'll be waiting for them. I'm looking at my window.
Hey,
So
we've had a FedEx person come in and like walk in the house behind somebody before, and they were like, "What is happening?"
I know. But the interesting thing is, so my home here, right, is I have this, I'm in the office, right, and the whole wall is literally just pure
Just glass.
glass. Right. So
Yep.
everyone can see what I'm doing, even when I walk around naked, which is fine. So but back to energy. It is
Yes.
contagious. Your laughter is making me laugh too. There you
No,
go.
I love it. So okay, so you gave me this the definition on in the green room, but I love how you said how you came up with the name to your company, FIDA. Tell our listeners that story.
Of course, and I'm happy to. You know, Jennifer and listeners out there, I'm sure you are familiar with this concept that if you buy a house that you did not approve of the floor plan, you would not be comfortable in that house. If you have a dress picked for you by another person and that dress is not your style at all, it doesn't even like exude your essence, you
Right,
will not be comfortable
right,
at all. And you will even, I mean, it will show because it can even ruin your day. That is the power of fashion. Same thing with the power of interior design and architecture, because all of those are deeply interwoven. And that is why I cultivated the blueprints to merge all of my expertise together, right? To help clients find themselves. And the best part is to collaborate with other people. And the most important thing is say, yes, I can. Because the truth is, fashion is the exterior architecture that you see. That is what people see. That is what people like. That's the first thing that draw them. The face, all of it, it's all part of the journey, my darling. And interior design, what your house look like matters a lot because if you feel that you're chaotic, if you feel like you're messy, things are not going well for you, look at your office design. Look at your house design. Is it cluttered? Is it
right,
clean? Is it dusted? All of those things really, really matters. So
right,
that's why I created a blueprint and I infused them into a system that have worked for me, worked for clients, and worked for even family and friends that I just, out of love and empathy share with.
right. Yeah, because you're right. Fashion and our lived spaces are so connected.
Yeah,
I
connect.
mean, it's what we wear showcases our personality, but
That's true.
so do our rooms.
That's true.
And the how it's funny. I had a group of people come to my house, some friends that had never been. I've known them forever, and they kind of were walking around the house. They were like, "Oh, this is so you." Like I've never seen a room that actually looks like one of like an outfit you would wear. Like that was just recent in the last couple of months that someone had said that. So I'm like, well, yeah. I said, the home is the reflection. It's our style. It's textiles that we wear on our body. It's the textiles that we have, in our spaces. So I love the connection to that, but that how you framed it within just your company blueprint. Yeah.
Because, one of the things I try to describe to people is when I was in, just a quick story. When I was in business school, so I had my MBA and MA from Johns Hopkins Carey Business School and Maryland Institute College of Art. So I did a dual degree that way back 2022 or so. I think that was when I graduated. I can't even remember. Jesus Christ.
I know COVID kind of messes up our memory of either
So
like,
fast.
I went from, like, 2019 to 2024. I really don't remember several like, the 3 years.
You know that COVID, and I did all of my program during the COVID period. So got into the school COVID, moved from Charlottesville, Virginia to Washington D.C. during COVID, and people were like,
Oh,
"Are you crazy?" I said, "Not
yeah,
crazy. I'm just fulfilling the next part of my life. It's part of the deal." So
yeah,
and I describe to people, I mean, they quickly people back in school, they'll be like, "Oh my God, you're such an empath. You're such an empath. You're such an empath." But I said, yes, I'm an empath, but I think I will frame it as strategic empath. I didn't even know what I meant by then. It didn't occur to me because sometimes nature just deal some words to your brain, right?
right,
And you're like, I guess it fits, I'll take it without
yeah.
the correct understanding. Until one day I was in with one of the companies I worked for, KPMG, back then.
I'm familiar with them.
then. And I recall we were in Chicago doing a client session, and I was a session designer and one of the facilitators of that session. And we were talking a lot about some important things because one of the big clients of ours. And I noticed one of our clients, you know, employee that was part of the session, she got up to pick a call, and she walked out, right? I mean, she picked up the call, she came back, her face changed. You could tell that something has happened. There's been a shift. Okay. Immediately, my body just, oh gosh, and sometimes I hate this part of myself. My body just sensed it as something is happening.
Yeah.
I just kept quiet. Then the actual escort her out. So she left. Okay. And that was it. Then after the session, I recall I went to meet her boss. I said, hi, how you thinking? Do you like the session? I was talking to the guy and she's like, yeah, you guys are doing great. I said, okay. I I have an intruding question, and please don't be offended, okay? Don't slap me. You have the right to slap me for this question. She started laughing. She said, Kelly, spit it out. So she has a Ghanaian Ruth, and Ghanaians and Nigerians are kind of like brothers and sisters because
Yeah.
sometimes you can differentiate between both people. And we were under the British colony as well. So she laughed. She said, come on, don't let me smack you at a joke. And I mean, she's a client. And I said to her, I said, look, I noticed one of your colleagues just left and her face changed. What happened? She said, well, she learned there was a death in her family.
Mm.
Immediately, my body sank. I said, oh God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We want to win their business, but this, da, 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 da. I said, shit, what are we going to do? So I went to meet my boss, who was in charge of, was the partner in charge of the
Right.
session. So I whispered to him, I said, okay, I'm sure you're not going to get this, but so and so just lost a member of their family. Do me a favor. Look, I have zero level or pedigree to ask you for this question, but please, I beg you, do this for me. He said, spit it out, Kelly. I said, sure. Okay. Would you please, write a note, handwritten note, give it to her directly or give it to the boss to give it to her? When someone is like a partner, you're just like a junior banana, or things like that. You would think perhaps they won't do it. But little did I know, his eyes moved to tears. Okay. Sometimes when you see a man that cry, almost cry, it's kind of like beautiful to see it. I wish they can do more. His eyes moved to tears, and the next thing was he said, Kelly, thank you. That wow, no one will ever do that. Thank you. And hold and behold, we won the engagement.
Yeah. Yeah.
After all
And
that, just
I think that's such a lesson for, I mean, it's something that we can't teach that as leaders. And coming from corporate agencies and in the agency world, we're just like architectural firms and interior design firms. We're serving others. We're serving, we we're not selling a widget. We're selling creativity and thinking and design and all that. But we're also serving the people. So, as a manager, as a boss, now as like owning my own firm, you can't teach empathy. You can't teach kindness.
mm-mm,
Um, and but what you can teach is, look, everybody leads from their seat. There is no hierarchy when it comes to serving clients. Of we all, it's leading with radical empathy. It's leading with active listening and paying attention to not just, you got energy, but also body language, and we've tried to had to retrain kind of our eyes in the world of Zooms and Teams, virtual meetings, to just even watch, shifts in people's seat to go, that triggered something. I need to make a note of it and somehow work it into a private conversation with one on one with the leadership. And that's kind of how but But that's just like I said, I'm like, I don't know companies that I don't know many leaders that would shun that type of behavior. It's like we want that from our teams because, like I said, you have to hire for it
Yes.
and you really can't teach it. And I know there's, a trend of, um, I was like for decades, it was removing the militarial. Is that the right word? But the militant personalities or leadership styles in companies of I'm gonna bark orders at you, and that was kind of shied away from and doesn't work for the most part. And I'm seeing like a little bit of the chatter or buzz around. Do we need to bring that back? And I'm like, no, like we're all in the hospitality business, no matter you know no matter what you're doing, whether you are in B2B and manufacturing, you are there to serve, create experiences, make your customers, your clients, or even the end users love your product, love
Yep.
your service.
Yep.
And the only way that you can do that is if you empower and celebrate and reward empathy
I
and lead with empathy.
completely agree with you, and that is a key reason why there are two things that, I take to heart and I try as much as possible. A friend once asked me, do you think empathy, and this friend, she was also a colleague of the same KPMG firm back then, and she was like, question, I noticed your behavioral pattern, and it's just, you have something that is so natural, and she was again referring to same empathy. She said, do you think empathy can be taught? I recall I told her no. I don't think it can be taught because it's something that you will have to experience and it's something that is natural. However, after that conversation, I thought about it a lot, especially when I was writing my book, The Power of Hands, and I was just like, okay, you know what?
It's a good
No,
one.
that's not
I like
true.
that title. I like that title.
I mean, our hands is just a lot about these hands, and I love acronyms, but I will tell you more about it later.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, I said, yes, it can be taught. You can teach strategic empathy, and strategic empathy through collaboration can help a person to start gradually becoming empathetic in an altruistic way. However, the most important thing is having the right motive. That is something that is extremely important because, a lot of people will say empathy is just putting yourself in another shoe. And I'm like, not really, because not all shoe would fit. They're different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's just you putting yourself in a very calm state that is so real that you try to understand why and what is happening and how you can help.
Yeah. Just taking it out of however you're working your process, however you're working your business engine,
Yep.
just to take a moment to go, wow, like I didn't get the reaction that I thought I was going to get, or let me think and just ask questions so I understand the world they live in a little
Exactly.
bit. Because we have to do that with like if you deal with corporate clients like we do, the same like, hey, when I send them an email and they don't ever open it, maybe the next meeting, I need to go, hey, what's your world like? And then, and design some questions just one to show you care,
Yes.
but two, how are you getting to, and what you learn is, oh my gosh, I get 1,000, I'm in meetings all day. I get back to my desk and I have 1,000 emails. So yours just gets buried. And then we're like, well, they're missing deadlines or they're missing some critical decision moments. It's like, okay, now that we know that, is there something that we should do? Should we text you if we need like a decision, or do we change the subject line so that we can put a high alert on something that triggers you in a quick scan? But like you don't uncover those things unless you ask the questions. You
Yep.
watch behavior,
Yep.
and not just behavior physically, but
Yes.
watch digital behavior.
Digital behavior. Yes.
Just all of it.
Yes.
and then figure out, how do I serve them better? How do I make the experience better for them so that we keep the connection and we keep the relationship? Yeah.
And you nailed it because there is it's an art. It's not a science because
No, yeah.
science have been really biological, but something about art is extremely creative. And when you look at it from this perspective, to your point, is you just have to ask the beautiful questions. There are question and there are beautiful question. So beautiful question to your point is, for example, when you try to diagnose the five whys or the five how, the five
Mhm.
what, the five when,
Right.
five where.
Was that the hands? I was gonna ask you, what was the it was that the hands, of, like, 'cause I was like, I wanna know what is the symbol of the hand?
So so the symbol of the hand is that. Thank you. You just brought me back in. And that was really fun. The symbol of the hand is just collaboration because this is the most powerful and advanced tool that have transcended all era or century and all places. Humanity, adaptation, nature, design, sustainability. That's hence
Wow.
HANDS. You see, these five formidable words have really showed us that one, we are humans. We've gone through time, we've gone through era, we've gone through century, and we've adapted. We have. With all of that, nature has always been here. It's just like how nature has taught us a lot of lessons.
Right. That's
It's
right.
just right there. You're looking at her. She teaches
Yeah.
you every day.
Everything.
And she gives you all of the blueprints, everything that you want to design the life that you want.
Yeah.
And the entrepreneurial journey you're trying to go into. And the most
So,
important thing is that S, it helps you to be sustainable.
I love that. I'm gonna pick up your book. So, I got a couple questions for you.
Oh,
I'm so curious, these the kinda 2 questions.
okay.
1, what's something that you really like about yourself that you wish other people recognized more? Because you're all out there. Like, you present yourself pretty fully and authentically, but I'm curious, is there something that you're like, I don't understand why people don't know this about me?
Gosh, that is so powerful. And now I don't even know what to say. I'm gobsmacked. Okay, cool. Let's see. Gosh. You know what? Okay, well, I'm full of life. And the other interesting thing that people don't know about me is I call myself, oh gosh, this is going to be crazy. So I call myself, gosh, I call myself a bitch a lot. BITCH, a bitch. You know why?
And why?
Yeah, because I'm beautiful. In and out, I try to keep it that way. Just like life, LIFE. I'm beautiful. I can be instantaneous, impactful, and very intuitive. I'm always testing myself, just like how life always tests you. Testing myself, I can be very chaotic, just like how life is chaotic.
That's right.
Chaotic in the sense that my brain goes 360 miles per hour because I'm neurodivergent, you know. I'm dyslexic. I have ADHD, and I have what's it
It's a
called?
superpower.
It's just yep, and I'm autistic. So it's the interesting thing is everything that you will consider to be chaotic, just like how life is chaotic. What actually makes me more beautiful and humbling, which is the H word of the BITCH. So life humbles you, and everything that life has taught me, all of the range, the chaos that has happened, the instantaneous effects I never see coming, and all of that has really humbled me a lot. And no matter how far I go, no matter what I do, I will always call myself a bitch. Always be beautiful. I will always be intuitively impactful. I will always test and test and test myself. And I will always welcome the chaos because I know the chaos is part of the fire that makes you more beautiful. And the
That's
most
right.
important thing is I will always be humble about
That's right. I love it. Oh, Imma have to, like, steal that for my girlfriends, and we'll have to take back the word.
now, it is one of the words that etymology is a thing, right? And when you look
Right.
at etymology, you look at the BITC word, and what comes to mind quickly is how um, I've westernized the word into a derogatory word, right? Because from an etymological perspective, the word was actually associated to a female dog. And the characteristics of a female dog is actually what I just described as well. They are beautiful. They are instantaneous because when you try to go for their babies, oh my God, they will become fierce and they will come for you so hard. And it's a word I really like. And for me, it's not really about power back because it's a word that we made to be a monster. Like,
Yeah.
let's be
Yeah.
realistic, Jennifer. This is a word that we use in our private. We wouldn't describe ourselves as that, and we'll call our friends as that. And also, there's a way you can have a conversation with your girlfriend, even without saying a word. You say, bitch. There's just something about it that it just makes it so organic and you will feel to chill without even saying anything, but you
Right.
understand yourself.
I'm sharing that. That's a good one. That's so good. All right, my other question for you. What is the biggest challenge or like your that you have faced so far when you started your business? I mean, you've been doing it for a few years. What's been your biggest like, oh shit moment?
Well, my oh shit moment, initially I wanted to say it's just the beautiful being divergent and trying to communicate that divergence to people, right? However, my oh shit was when I realized that my whole divergence is actually a gorgeously designed superpower that has really helped me.
That's right.
And I have to communicate that to people. And sometimes it's so evident because it's hard for people to even acknowledge that I'm neurodivergent. Because a lot of the time, my friends will be like, no, you're perfect. You're not. No, get out of here. Stop saying that. You're not neurodivergent. But the interesting thing is, we know ourselves and we know how it is. And we just have to find a way to, to take that challenge. And when that moment hits you, and you're like, okay, you have to communicate, you have to connect, and you have to make yourself so presentable to people, but making them understand who you are as a person. That has been my personal, right, in terms of from a professional standpoint is, look, I will tell you this. No matter how delicious your idea is, no matter how you've baked it in the oven, you've tried it a lot of times, and it's my God, you just want to bite off your finger. If another person doesn't like it, it's not selling. So basically, try to go for something that when someone wake you up in the middle of the night, you're good to go. You can do it, and you're happy doing it, and people will buy it. I've failed before, and failure is that part of that energy that really helps you to say, you know what? Yeah, this didn't work well, so I should do something else in order to make sure everything is all well matched up. So that is it for me. Is try to go create a product or service that people will use. It's not about you, it's about how you're trying to help another person. And make sure that product or service or process, because I've done process design, I saw
Right.
that, as I say that. So make sure those are the things. Like if someone wake you up in the middle of the night and say, "Hey, I want you to do this," you behave like the almighty chihuahua that you are and do it. So
Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, it was I've taken failure out of my vocabulary. Cuz it's such a depressing word of like, we all make mistakes, we all have errors. I've tried to just go, you know what, they're lessons learned. They
that's
are They're just steps in our journey, and so we have wins
Mhm.
and we have lessons.
Yes. It's true,
That's
it's true. It's just
that is it.
you're right.
Because we are gonna fail.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
things are not gonna work out. We're gonna make
no, no,
mistakes. Yeah.
you're right, and you nailed it like 100% because, my partner and I just had a conversation recently, about the power of words and
Yeah.
yeah, the
And
power of words and how
don't put that on yourself.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
and how critical it is, because the interesting thing is words, oh gosh, I can talk like hours about words and how powerful they are. But one thing is, we decided to switch the word FIGHT, fight, right? You see how you decided to kick failure out of your
Right.
vocabulary. We decided to kick fights out of our vocabulary and to change it for challenges and opportunity. Because then I had to because it was becoming a little bit something repetitive where my partner and I too interesting. My partner is Caucasian, and I'm gorgeously melanin. I would take that and something. No, I won't trade it yet.
Yeah.
So, my and we had the age difference. Oh my God, it's like night and day, right? However, it works perfectly because
Yeah.
I don't want another person. I just want my partner, and that's what I have. But the interesting thing is, the word FIT, fight, we know, right, from a lexicon and an etymological perspective, it's related to combat, right?
Yeah.
You do your
Yeah.
research. So the interesting part is when your brain hear the word fight, especially within a couple, it goes into the fight or flight mode. So basically, your body become tense. You're pausing fast. Your heart is beating so fast, and that is what happened when people can easily escalate to make their life
Right.
miserable just because of the power of the word. So, and we notice that each time we are talking, and one of us throw down the word, fight, it's either my body is changing, I'm getting like, ooh, I'm becoming a different human,
Right.
or he is. So we're like, okay, let's retire our words and put it challenge and opportunity. And that has really, really helped us.
Right. Right. Yeah, because you're right. It is. And sometimes it's like, we were fighting. I thought we were just discussing something.
That's exactly.
Thought we were just having a conversation. And yes, it was tense, but I didn't think it of I. So even just like knowing that communication is two ways, it's not just what comes out of our mouths, but it's how it's landing
Exactly.
and how people define things.
Yep. It's true.
Yeah,
It's
it
true.
is true.
And
Good lessons.
yeah, because I mean, I'm just gonna like help with this. And are you familiar with Susan E. Davis' work on emotional agility?
No. Okay.
Yeah,
Emotional agility?
yes.
Oh, I'm gonna make note of that. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually a book as well. She wrote a book on it, and Susan E. Davis. I found her. I stumbled on her about oh my gosh, like 7 years ago, and I took that words to heart because she describes the power of words and how it is so critical to call words what they are.
Right.
It's like try to ascribe a certain word that mirror the exact moment to a situation, right?
Yeah.
Because when you say fight and you guys were not even fighting at all, you guys were just having just conversation, right? About okay, we didn't talk about this yesterday. We didn't do this yesterday. But the other person is like, oh my god, we fought. I'm like, no, 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 we did not
Right.
have to do never.
Right. All right. If you had to use one word to describe your journey as an entrepreneur, as and a founder,
Yes.
what word would you
God,
use?
I will use the BITCH again. But I will use the
Yeah.
BITCH again because, frankly, my journey as a founder, as an entrepreneur, as an author, and the most important thing, as discovering myself as a neurodivergent
Yeah.
human being, it's been really beautiful. And I would say it's been instantaneous as well, right? Because sometimes life just hits you with your curveball when you don't even know, you're not even watching. And before it happens, you're like, oh my God, what happened? You're stumbling down the chair. So it's just an interesting situation. And, because sometimes, yes, some opportunities are come as a founder
That's right.
because you have to make sure that you're prepared because when you are prepared the doors will start opening and when you're not ready
That's
to
right.
walk through those doors it will close.
Right.
the way life is.
That's right.
And it's very instantaneous, right? And I would tell you, right, that the journey of an entrepreneur is always testing.
Trial and error.
Try and error. You have to
And pivoting and pivoting and pivoting always.
get it.
Absolutely.
Iteration, because people are like, oh no, you have to focus on one thing. Honey, you can focus on that thing, but if you fail or if it didn't go well, you have to remember that, okay, pack your bag, let's do the next thing, or try it again, and things like that. Let's do something
Right.
different.
Or that didn't land right, so I need to
Exactly.
tweak, or they didn't get my story. These are my values. How do I redraft it and refine it so it lands better?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you see that power of reframe, right? You reframe it, you're like, okay,
Mhm.
well, this is what I tried to communicate, but it came out this way. Oh, we have to find a way to like make those adjustments. So it's
That's right.
just that beautiful part of try and error,
Right.
you have to keep testing and validating and testing. Oh, and the other part as well, the life of an entrepreneur can be so chaotic.
Oh, yeah.
So chaotic.
Hello chaos is where
Mm-hmm.
we welcome it though.
I know.
You know,
Yeah.
our brains are wired, I think, a little bit differently. Um, Chaos is not a negative
No.
in I think entrepreneurs' minds, in our messy minds. It is, either it's a challenge of my life, it's kind of chaotic. I'm going to
Yeah.
organize it. I'm going to put
Uh,
structure to it, or it's just because it's the constant whirlwind of
um,
trial and error and pivot.
uh-huh. And to your point, right? When you look at the power of words as well, you have to say, well, I mean, yeah, it's chaotic, but should I reframe it as challenging? And we just did just now, right? You can do that as well. But the most important of
Humbling.
all, it is humbling.
Yeah.
It is,
I mean, not only do you have to embrace humility
yeah,
to really grow and do, but the challenges, the chaos, the rawness
yes,
does make you humble.
it is. It does make you humble. And the interesting part of it is when that moment have arrived, because you will feel it, it's deeply felt. When the moment arrive and when you see another person, perhaps a friend, or maybe you watch the TV or something, and how an entrepreneur did not achieve a certain metrics that they set for themselves, it makes you feel, I've been there. And that is part of the humbling moment.
That's right.
I've been there.
We've
Been
all
there,
been there.
done that. And you know what, buddy? You can make it work. Just
You can.
keep
Just keep going.
keep going.
Keep that moving forward, just step by step. Okay, so what's the word that you want to describe your next chapter in your journey?
Okay, the word to describe the next chapter of my journey, I would say saying yes.
Saying
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes, saying yes. That will be the next chapter, because the previous chapter and the current chapter, and I've been able to go through the whirlwind of life, and I've learned a lot, I've grown. And this is the time for me to say yes. However, say yes to what is right, and say yes to the opportunity that will uplift and make another person successful.
That's a good one. All right, so Kelly, what's the best piece of advice that you received when you started your company that you really took to heart and can you share that with others?
Absolutely. And, I actually learned this from my partner who, um, I learned this from my partner who just sold his law practice. So, yeah, I just sold his law firm. He's like, okay, I'm done, I'm retired, and things like that.
Tell them congratulations. There we go. Celebrate that win,
That's
dude.
like,
Celebrate the win.
exactly, and frankly, it was just last week that we finalized all of those, okay, that, everything is gone. But what I would tell you this is, I learned this from him. Look, there will come moments where you will feel it's not worth it. When you feel it's just endless labor, no fruits coming out.
Right,
But you have to think of it as a tree. When you plant it, you have to keep watering, and it will get to the point. It depends on the type of tree that you plant.
right.
You can plant a tree without fruits, or you can plant a tree with fruits. And the journey is just like watching a tree grow and taking care of a tree. So, water, and I did communicate this in my book as well. You know, I made because I did this allegorical kingdom called the Tulum Kingdom because the book is fiction and nonfiction, just how my life is, and so chaotically beautiful. He said, "Tree, you planted, water, 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 trim, trim, trim. You know, dress, dress, dress." Observe, observe, fertilize. And that is how the life of a business is, an entrepreneur. You have to do everything you can to keep watering it. That is, keep putting the labor in, do everything you can to ensure that it's successful. It's the right product, you're testing, right? You're
Right.
validating, you're doing all of that. So, and I would say that is the most powerful word anyone has ever said to me because it transcends not just business into life as well.
Mm,
Because we are like trees, you know, if we don't get watered or fertilized and things like that, we don't grow.
that's right.
And when we
I'm a,
grow, we're not delicious.
I'm Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, gonna expand on that little metaphor. Whether you are, a fruit tree of you're actually creating fruit for other people to enjoy. But if you're not a fruit tree, maybe you're growing to create shade for somebody
Nailed it. Yes,
and yeah, cover them, shade them,
exactly. Because
protect them. Yeah,
I mean, Jennifer, I'm sure there are people in your life, right, in the past that have also, when you look back deeply, you can see it. Well, this tree actually shielded me from a catastrophic rain that could have drenched my beautiful pearly white dress or something like that, you know? And I provided comfort, not a person. I made them feel safe. I made them feel alive and things like that. So it's just the same thing with, oh, you know, it's the bed. So there's just some, it's
nice. It's a nice metaphor. It's like with my non-melanin skin, my Scott Irish skin. I appreciate the shade so I don't get burned. I need it.
oh, and here is the interesting thing. So, as you know, my name is very Irish, okay? So, and I love to surprise a lot of people a lot. Sometimes you're like, "Oh, Mrs. Dowd." I get out a lot. Oh, the best one was my MBA my MBA advisor who never met me, but has communicated, right? So it was a melanin brother. He thought, well, maybe I'm gonna be his next magic trick. Maybe he thought I was, Caucasian, something like that. But here was a caveat. We got on a call. This was in 2020, and I remember I was still in Charlottesville. Um, you know, I purposely measured on my camera. I was not on. Okay, so as to see how it will be perceived.
Right.
Weirdly, it was there waiting, that things like that. Then I turned on my camera. It was like, oh shit! It flipped. Okay, it flipped. It's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I was like, what is happening? Are you okay? It's like, he said, shoot, I did not. He had lots for words. He couldn't even know what to say at all. Then I said to him, I said, calm down. It's okay. I understand. It's fine. It is fine. So, and that happened again at the airport in Ireland. Okay. So I was in London and because I go a lot, almost every year. And this time I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take a trip to Dublin to have Guinness because Guinness is my favorite beer.
Mine too.
Oh gosh. I grew up even when I was 12, when I wanted to buy food, I'll take Guinness from the fridge and drink. Mom, I'm sorry. I just said it. But anyway, I got to the airport in Dublin, and this, officer lady, she picked my passport. Gosh, God help her. She looked at a photo. She looked at me. She looked at a photo. She looked at her name. She looked at me, and,
She's like, "What is happening?"
and exactly, she was lost for words. I said to her, I said, "Oh, I know what you're thinking." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I know what you think. You think I'm a gorgeously, Caucasian lady." She was just laughing. She's like, "Please take your passport. It's just nice to meet you."
I love it. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope we get to meet in person one day.
I can
I think we would have a lot of fun. I appreciate you hanging out. with me. Before we leave, how do you want people to connect with you and support you and learn more about you? Where do you want?
Please, all of my social media handles is just D Kelly Dowd. THE, my first name and my last name. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on X. You can find me on Thread and Facebook. Is the same handle everywhere. So, and yes, when my book is out and which will be out, let's say this October, this fall, I hope you grab a copy and I will post it on my social media as well so you can easily go to the right channel to get a copy. But I hope I meet everyone one day, one at a time, one way or
Yes.
and Jennifer, I hope to meet you in person someday soon.
Yeah, me too. Power of Hands, right? That's the book that's going to be out. Okay. Well, we'll tag it as well when we air this episode.
Perfect. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you. And that's a wrap on today's chaos, but the journey doesn't stop here. If you found yourself nodding along, maybe laughing or even yelling, "Same, Kelly, same, I feel you." Subscribe to the podcast, share it, leave us that 5-star review on Spotify, or you can dig deeper into founder resources. We've got tools and more episodes over at orangewhip.com, and that's orange WIP.com. Until next time, stay curious, stay scrappy, and remember, we are all a work in progress. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you again next week.